There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it comes to making an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This is Peter, and welcome back to the History Shorts. Today's episode is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. If a painting could talk, this one would sound like a battlefield. It had survived iconoclasts, revolutions, emperors, forgers, Nazis, and thieves. It has been dismantled, hidden, smuggled, burned, and stolen more times than any other work of art in all history. And yet, it still stands. The Ghent Altarpiece, also known as the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb, is not just one of the most influential paintings ever created, it is arguably the most contested artwork on Earth. This is the story of a masterpiece that became a prize of faith, power, and war, and why after 6 centuries, it still refuses to stay still. Today's history brief comes to us from Richard Shankman and Kurt Rieger's One Night Stands with American History. A quick word from our sponsors.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
This day in history. On March 3, 1845, Florida became the 27th state admitted to the Union, expanding the young nation's reach into southeastern frontier. On March 3, 1931, Congress officially adopted the Star-Spangled Banner as the national anthem of the United States, a song born from war that came to symbolize national identity. The Ghent Altarpiece was completed in 1432 by the brothers Jan van Eyck and Hubert van Eyck, towering figures of the Northern Renaissance. Commissioned for St. Bavo's Cathedral in Ghent, then part of the wealthy Burgundian Netherlands, the altarpiece was unlike anything Europe had seen. It was enormous, a multi-paneled pilotek painted in luminous oil glazes that made jewels sparkle, fabric shimmer, and human skin seem almost alive. At its center stood a symbolic lamb, representing Christ, surrounded by saints, prophets, angels, and pilgrims. Technically, it was revolutionary. Spiritually, it was radical. For the first time, divine imagery felt tangible, almost earthly, bridging heaven and the physical world through astonishing realism. Artists across Europe studied it. Patrons coveted it. And from the beginning, it attracted more than admiration. It actually attracted danger. The first threats came not from armies, but from belief itself. In the 16th century, waves of Protestant iconoclasm swept through the Low Countries. Religious reformers, rejecting Catholic imagery, destroyed statues and paintings they considered wrong. In 1566, during the Beeldenstorm, or the iconoclastic fury, mobs targeted churches across the region. The Ghent Altarpiece was dismantled and hidden by cathedral authorities to save it from destruction. It was one of the earliest moments when the painting's survival depended not on art lovers, but on secrecy. This would become a pattern. By the late 18th century, Europe was again at war. When French revolutionary armies swept through the region, they brought with them a new ideology and a new appetite for art. Napoleon Bonaparte saw masterpieces not just as cultural treasures, but as symbols of power. Parts of the Ghent altarpiece were seized and shipped to Paris, where they were displayed in the Louvre as trophies of conquest. The message was clear: art belonged to whoever won the war. Only after Napoleon's defeat were the panels returned, though not all of them. Some had already been sold off, setting the stage for future disputes that would haunt the altarpiece for centuries. In the 19th century, portions of the altarpiece were legally, but controversially, sold to collectors and eventually ended up in Berlin. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles forced Germany to return them to Belgium as war reparations. It was one of the first times that artwork became central to international diplomacy. But the altarpiece's most famous theft was still to come. In 1934, a single panel, The Just Judges, vanished overnight from St. Bavo's Cathedral. A ransom note appeared, signed by someone calling themselves D.U. The thief demanded money and sent cryptic messages suggesting deep knowledge of the artwork's history. Despite investigations, arrests, and a dramatic deathbed confession by a suspected culprit, the panel has never been recovered. To this day, a replica actually stands in its place. It is perhaps the greatest unsolved art crime in history. The next chapter unfolded during World War II. Adolf Hitler believed the Ghent altarpiece belonged to Germany, both culturally and symbolically. As Nazi forces occupied Belgium, the painting became a target of systematic looting. It was seized and transported across Europe, eventually hidden in a salt mine in Austria, part of Hitler's planned Führermuseum, a vast collection meant to glorify the Third Reich. By the final months of the war, the mines were rigged with explosives. If destroyed, the altarpiece would never have been recovered. Allied monuments men recovered it in 1945, rescuing not just a painting, but a piece of European identity. The Ghent altarpiece was not just valuable, it was symbolic. For Catholics, it represented sacred devotion. For emperors and dictators, it represented cultural supremacy. For nations, it became a measure of legitimacy. Its influence on art history was equally profound. Painters from Renaissance on studied its realism, its use of light, and its layered symbolism. Some historians argue that it helped redefine what painting could be, moving European art toward detailed naturalism that would dominate the next century. In short, it was not just beautiful, it was powerful in many ways. In recent years, a major restoration project revealed new details, including the startling discovery that the lamp's face had been altered by later overpainting. When conservators removed centuries of varnish and retouching, the lamp's eyes emerged, wide, almost unsettling, gazing directly at the viewer. The restoration reminded the world that the altarpiece is not frozen in time. It is a living object, shaped by every generation that touched it, saved it, or tried to claim it. Across 6 centuries, the Ghent altarpiece has survived, among other things, religious revolution, imperial looting, world wars, forgery and theft, ideological appropriation. No other artwork has been stolen, moved, or threatened so often, and yet it endured. Today it stands again in Ghent, protected by modern security and careful conservation. But its history remains restless, because every age seems to see something new in it, and something worth fighting for. The History Brief. The following comes to us from Richard Shankman and Kurt Rieger's One Night Stands with American History. Andrew Carnegie was once visited by a socialist who preached to him eloquently the injustice of one man possessing so much money. He preached a more equitable distribution of wealth. Carnegie cut the matter short by asking his secretary for a generalized statement of his many possessions and holdings, at the same time looking up the figures on world population in his own private almanac. He figured for a moment on his desk pad and then instructed his secretary, "Okay, give this gentleman 16 cents. That's his share of my wealth." Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and helping make this little show such a mighty success. If you are enjoying the show and would like to help with its production, you can always donate a few dollars at buymeacoffee.com or become a Patreon member to enjoy these episodes ad-free. Both links can be found on our website at www.historyshortspodcast.com. I also hope you guys check out my YouTube channel, where I'm starting a new series called 25 Events That Changed America. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.